Hello StarCraft fans, this is Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another daily Legacy of the Void upload. This is a game between MacSed and PartinG on Ulrena. In the bottom left of Ulrena, we have the red Protoss player. It is MacSed, representing Invictus Gaming and the nation of China. And in the top left of Ulrena, we have the blue Protoss player. Everybody knows him. It is PartinG. Currently teamless, he is from the nation of Korea, which is a good thing because this is from Nation Wars that wrapped up just after New Year's. This replay was found on LOTV.spawningtool.com. Go ahead and check that out for all of your StarCraft replay needs, especially for Legacy of the Void. It was found by my screener Dominique, who I send out there every once in a while to keep an eye on the awesome stuff that's coming out of that website. And so far, the awesome stuff are pro-level replays from Nation Wars. So thanks again, Dominique. I really appreciate it. And let's see what's going on here today. Our PvP. Again, this is my weekly PvP cast. I will do one of these every week along with a weekly ZVZ and a weekly TVT. The mirror matchups don't get a lot of attention on my channel, which is a bummer because I try to find the very best ones to cast. But at the same time, I do want to make sure that everybody is represented. If you're a Protoss player and you play on ladder, you have definitely played a PvP or two, and it would be good to see how the pros handle the situation. So you can copy their builds, copy their styles, and see what is going to happen next. So here we go. It looks like a double assimilator already out for MacSed, and going for a double gateway opening into a cybernetics core. A single base play from both of these guys. PartinG, on the other hand, gas was a little bit later, but still going for that double gateway opening with the cybernetics core. The timings are a little bit differently, but it looks like they both are definitely going for two assimilators with 3 workers each into gateway, into cybernetics core, into another gateway, or second gateway into cybernetics core. So it looks like it's going to be adept versus adept, or it could be stalkers as well. Stalkers are good in PvP, especially against adepts, because stalkers are armored units and don't take extra damage from the adept unit, which does extra damage to light. Plus they're fast, so they can catch adepts before they kill all of your workers. Indeed it is. Double stalker coming out for both of these players, just bypassing adepts entirely. The harassment's not worth it anymore in the current meta of Legacy of the Void for PvP. Pretty good scout here from PartinG, seeing exactly what's coming up, and he's going to see it's very familiar. Both players getting mothership cores, both players getting warp gate research, and pylons, avoiding getting supply blocked. Another hallmark of a pro-level player is they do not get supply blocked. They get pylons in conjunction with their worker count, in conjunction with their army, so that they are always creating units and never having to stop because they don't have enough supply. Look at PartinG. Bam, 31, 31, 31, 39, everybody. Check me out. MacSed actually up to 34 to 39. Does have 1 fewer worker, but that's okay. Some stalker versus stalker action here on this little island in the middle of nowhere with the Zelnaga watchtower. You have to come through this narrow choke to attack your opponent on this map. It's really, really weird that way. And it just means that if you try to come through here and they have a nice concave on this end of it, or on this end of it, you're in a lot of trouble and are probably going to die. So if you can set up a concave defense on this area, it's going to be pretty good for most of the game. If your opponent does manage to take down these rocks, there's another attack path from north to south they can take. Or if they go the long way, that'll also work too. So 2 stalker versus 2 stalker, very micro-intensive. It reminds me of Brood War back in the day when those first initial battles were everything. It was like 1 shuttle and a Reaver and a Dragoon, and you'd try to kill your opponent. So here come 4 stalkers versus 4 stalkers. There's a probe here as well, just trying to deal damage, and catching one of the stalkers for PartinG, and does end up falling, and one of MacSed's die as well. Yet another stalker ends up dead there, but Photon Overcharge comes up, and forced to retreat here is MacSed. 2 versus 2, but his stalkers are very wounded. Meanwhile, PartinG's are not. So PartinG's going to go ahead and take the initiative, and an Oracle on the way from MacSed. PartinG instead going right for the robotics facility, likely for disruptors. And Stalker just poking on in, seeing that there's a base. Indeed there is. Didn't even really bother to come in. Waiting for friends, but no, trapped. PartinG is trapped here. The Stalker's trying to chase him down, and can they get another shot? Yes, 1 Stalker ends up dead. That guy retreats in shame, but decides to no, come back and avenge his friend. Try to kill one of these weakened Stalkers possibly, but no, I'm just going to go ahead and retreat on home, recognizing that MacSed would retreat back to his second base instead of trying to hold this ramp again, although MacSed is going for it. So man, great game sense there by PartinG, recognizing he could get a Stalker home, which is really big. If he only had 2 stalkers here and 4 stalkers were coming, he'd be in a lot of trouble. Can they get the pylon before Photon Overcharge comes up? No, not quite, although it does take it down to 46 shields, which is good, but not great. Meanwhile, Oracle on in here, trying to kill all of the probes. MacSed's Oracle does have 4 probe kills, and MacSed's now up 31 to 28 workers over PartinG. Pretty good stuff. Observer running out for PartinG. That's what came out of that robotics facility first. PartinG also getting an Immortal, which is so handy in PvP. Immortals do extra damage versus armored, and Stalkers, hey, look at that. Stalkers are armored. So fantastically good in this matchup. It has been for a long time to get Immortals. As this guy's still flying around, Oracle does have 6 kills now. Good golly, PartinG down to 30 total Harvesters, continuing to make them 2 at a time as fast as he can to catch back up, and I think he'll get there. PartinG also getting a Twilight Council for Blink for his Stalkers, making them that much more effective, especially in this matchup. I really don't think I've seen a Protoss player go for Stalkers in any matchup without getting Blink. In Legacy of the Void, anyway. Observer, again, just scouting on out, can't do any damage, really, but seeing exactly what MacSed is up to can be very useful as well. MacSed getting an Immortal of his own. Stargate producing a Void Ray. I don't know why you'd get a Void Ray in PvP. If there are a lot of Stalkers around, they do really well against air units, including Void Rays. And it just seems like, unless you're harassing with it, seems like a bad idea. PartinG now has a Robotics Bay being under construction. That is likely, again, going to be used for Disruptors. Disruptors really good in the PvP meta right now, because Disruptors, with their Purification Note ability, does splash damage in a way that can kill a group of Stalkers in one hit. And taking out 4 or 5 Stalkers can be enough to turn the tide in a battle to where you are losing and now you're winning, or vice versa. Revelation now being thrown down from the Oracle. This Revelation ability here causes enemy units and structures within the target area to grant vision for 43 seconds. So what that means is, check this out. Our friend MacSed can see these units and what they're doing, can see what's up this ramp without actually having units there for 43 seconds, which is a long time. Surprisingly long time. First Disruptor on the way for PartinG. Blink also being researched. Chrono Boost, as a matter of fact. He wants to have his Blink Stalkers and his Disruptors and a couple of Mortals mixed in just for good measure. Disruptor coming up for... oh, that's PartinG's Disruptor. I apologize. MacSed is also getting another Void Ray. And you know what? Because Disruptor's Purification of ability does not affect air units, it might not be a bad idea to get some Void Rays and try to focus them down while the Blink Stalkers are focused elsewhere. We'll have to see how this works. It's kind of similar to how Zerg will just go mass Muta and Ling against a disrupting Protoss. A Protoss going Disruptor, because again, these guys can't shoot up. Mutas do a great job sniping them down. They really don't have that many hit points. It's only 200. And a big Muta ball just goes wham, wham with 2 volleys and it's gone, which is very nice indeed. MacSed with a 3rd Nexus, though. MacSed keeping up economically with PartinG. 48 to 45 workers, has the lead there. And yeah, just continuing to make Disruptors. MacSed refusing to make Disruptors, instead going for Void Rays, going for Phoenix for reasons entirely unknown here. Zealot for MacSed, trying to hold a Zelnanga Watchtower, getting shot in the back of the head by a Stalker, but the Stalker blinks away. This is really, again, a sign of a great Protoss Pro, is their blink reflexes. Their ability to blink out and blink in of situations, even before the danger's even there, or before the target opportunity presents itself, is just impressive as all get out. Zealot blinking forward, Zealot ends up dead. And you say, so what? The Zealot's gone, it's only 100 minerals. But in games like this, in games at this level of play, that 100 minerals can be the difference between winning a battle and losing a battle. I'm going to go ahead and zoom on out to see this, but nope, PartinG blinks on out, recognizing I do not have the army advantage in that particular situation. Going to go in and get my friends, get some Disruptors, get some Immortals, and a Sentry, and run on down there now and see if things are better. 123 to 107 total supply. MacSed looking pretty good. MacSed also getting a Templar Archives. That's going to be for Archons or for Storm, for regular old Templar. Probably for Archons, though, or just for +3 attack. MacSed also getting Zealot legs. Is he going to have that many Zealots? I don't know, but PartinG continues with the Disruptor play. And once again, here comes a Nova, moving out and whiffing entirely there. The Phoenix trying to see what they can see, lifting up something, but all the Phoenix are forced away there. Oh, picking off a Disruptor. Nicely done there by MacSed. Wow, losing a Disruptor that early, after really not doing too much damage yet with those Disruptors. MacSed showing some really good control. Another Revelation going down. Only catching that Warp Prison, though. A bit of an unfortunate play. The rest of the army wasn't there. MacSed, I think, was anticipating that they were. I guess he did also pick up... Oh, both of the Disruptors did get Revelation put on them. If you're inside a Warp Prism and Revelation gets thrown down, I guess it affects the Disruptor as well. Good to know. We learned something new today. PartinG getting another Robotics facility, more Disruptors coming up here. And here come the Stalkers. No upgrades whatsoever on these Stalkers. No upgrades on the ground units either for MacSed. Coming on in, and again, the Immortal count is so high right now for MacSed. Look at that, 6 Immortals. Wow, and a Revelation thrown down again. And finally, the Oracle does get picked up by PartinG. Pushing on in, and an Archon being morphed in as well. Purification Nova does hit. Kills a couple Stalkers. Greatly weakens some Immortals there as well. That's exactly what they are meant to do. PartinG going to try to do this. And Max is going to try to split as best he can. Warp Prism picking up some units. Purification Nova comes in again, kills a couple Immortals, or a couple Zealots rather, but crushing through here is MacSed, killing a lot of stuff on the ground. The Disruptors are out in the front, out in the open. One ends up completely dead. Void Rays trying to smash up down as well. They have this ability called Prismatic Alignment that does +6 damage versus armored units, and Stalkers are armored units. Blinking forward, trying to kill an Immortal, but taking shots from Immortals as well. It's a bit of a risky play there. Purification Nova does make a big hit. Disruptor with 7 kills. Oh, the sneaky Purification Nova. Look at that. Oh, man. PartinG looking great indeed. MacSed. That was a big one. That was a big hit. Can he survive it is going to be the question. He has Zealots. They do have charge, which is good. Single Immortal, though, I don't think it's going to happen here for MacSed. The Stalkers are in, blinking away, using that Blink Stalker ability to go ahead and move the wounded units away there and kill Zealots that are chasing after them. 2 Disruptors, a couple good Purification Novas, and Nova comes up the ramp and forces MacSed back. Just zoning out right now with the Purification Nova, and does it hit? It does. It kills the Immortal. There are a lot of Zealots here, but that is about it. Does pick up 1 of the Disruptors here. And the Phoenix do pick up a second one, but the Phoenix are dying as soon as they could pick anything up here. Misses on that one. And the Zealots are chasing everybody down. Can they get the Disruptor using their charge ability on it? The Disruptor is so much slower than the Stalkers, and the Disruptor does end up falling. So nicely played there indeed, but this Stalker count is just way too high. The Void Rays do not want to be here at all. Purification Nova killing an Immortal. Oh, you don't want to see that. And Void Rays do end up falling. Kaboosh. They do. The Stalkers for PartinG looking great. 109 to 108 total supply. 63 to 52 Harvesters. MacSed actually up in workers here. The income tab showing slight lead in that income, which is good for him. But again, I think PartinG Stalker count is just too high. Zealots are good, but they're not that great against Stalkers. Nova coming in as well and killing a lot of Zealots. I think he caught a couple Stalkers on his front line at the same time. But the Stutter Step Micro, again, very fantastic here from PartinG, focusing down that Phoenix that got a little bit too close. Zealots are dying all over the place. How many Zealots have died in this game for MacSed? The answer is 48. 48 Zealots have died in this matchup. Another Immortal dies. The Micro on display here for PartinG, just insane. Purification Nova forcing everybody back. There are some Archons. They do not do extra damage versus Stalkers because they are not biological. I don't know if that was the greatest move at all here for MacSed, but once again, he does have the income advantage. The Archons do splash damage, which is nice. They can take out Stalkers fairly easily. Moving on in here, and MacSed just buying time. I mean, PartinG is able to continue warping in Zealots. I think he has this game well in hand. Blink Stalkers trying to blink into the high ground, taking out a pylon and another pylon. Might get trapped in here a little bit, though. I don't think PartinG wants to be there. Nope, going to blink onto the high ground if he needs to, and indeed he does. Sends the Disruptors up here, and then blinks to the high ground. Purification Nova kills both of the Archons. Oh no, MacSed. Oh no. Again, forced to retreat here by these Zealots. The Zealots do pretty darn good damage against these Stalkers. It's just they can be kited pretty much indefinitely. Charge makes that more difficult, but again, PartinG is showing a good display of how to do that. Free Immortal? No, instead backing on out. Picking off individual Zealots here, getting rid of the Stalkers. Archon with 1 kill. PartinG forced to retreat once again. Another pair of Disruptors coming right on in for PartinG. No, PartinG! PartinG, no! Oh, the Disruptors! Oh, 2 Disruptors getting completely destroyed there. PartinG won the battle up top, but lost 2 Disruptors. All he has is this group of Stalkers. It is a total of 15, which is good, but 2 Immortals, 8 Zealots, and 2 Archons remain here for MacSed. Can he win this battle? The Immortals, again, doing very good against those Stalkers. 55 damage versus armored, and it adds up. They hit pretty hard, too. 1.04 weapon speed. Zealots hacking away. Blinking away from those hacks are the Stalkers. Dark Shrine on the way for PartinG. Is he feeling that worried about this game? Getting a 4th Nexus as well. Stalkers on the high ground. Might try to take down these gateways, but they're on power. They're not much of a threat to PartinG at this point. I'm not sure why he would do that. He is trying to make sure that MacSed doesn't take another base of his own. And actually, Zealots for MacSed forcing a cancel on that 4th. Holy smokes, this game is insane. All right, if MacSed can hold on here, he doesn't die to the Dark Templar, which would be a concern, and he can maybe take a 4th of his own, he might be able to win this game. The Zealots are hacking away at the Stalkers. Nope, just trying to run home, unfortunately. They should have died swinging, but that's not what they were told to do, and they are consummate professionals in every possible way. Again, refusing to make disruptors here, as MacSed. Zealots on top of all these Stalkers, forcing PartinG back once again. Phoenix ready to pick up any disruptors that are on the field, but there aren't any. There's 1 on the way for PartinG, but that is it. Just the 1, 2 on the field, so 3 total. 4 if you count the one that's going to pop in here in about 15 seconds or so. 128 to 128 total supply. It is neck and neck for these players. Ladies and gentlemen, Zealot killed something there, not holding the Zealot Naga Watchtower. There we go. But gets his orders to hold the tower this time. He's like, why was I told to stand over here? 2 steps back, and I'm in a good place. Zealots from PartinG rocking on down, and goodbye, Zealot holding the Zealot Naga Watchtower. Now it is PartinG's job to hold this tower, and we're going to fight over this little area for the rest of eternity. 4th base on the way for PartinG. Is MacSed taking a 4th of his own? It looks like he's going to do it, and yes indeed, there goes the 4th Nexus. Not too far behind PartinG's. Okay, a little bit behind, but not too bad. Another attack here. PartinG taking down probably another Zealot, sent to take the Zealot Naga Watchtower, not recognizing there are 2 Zealots down there. And here come the Phoenix, going to lift these guys and kill them both, because they do extra damage versus light. No, the Blink Stalkers come in to defend their Zealot brethren, saying, no way, you're not killing our buddies. They're holding this tower for us. They're giving us sight. Exactly what they're supposed to do. Leave them alone. MacSed continuing with Immortal Archon, and PartinG continuing with Disruptor. Again, the meta here does tend to be, as the Stalker tries to take down the Nexus, Disruptor, Stalker. Disruptor, Stalker, Disruptor, Stalker in this matchup. MacSed might be trying to change things. If he can make this work with his Archons, with his Zealots, with his Void Rays, and his Phoenix, we might see some changes in this matchup, which would be good. Zealots rocking on in, using their charge ability as often as they possibly can. Archon's getting a couple shots off. Purification Nova does kill a Zealot. I think that was it. Checking for this base here. Here come the Archons. Can they kill the base? The Zealots might actually try. They do pretty well against buildings. They do have +1 attack upgrade, which is good now. There are some lot of Stalkers warping in and Zealots to defend that base. PartinG knowing exactly what he needs to deal with an encroaching army, and a MacSed backing on out. What is this? Oh, a Warp Prism with a DT. DT is up to 3 kills. Is there an observer with this army anywhere? MacSed knows what is happening. He keeps losing workers, though it is not good. And finally, the observer shows up, and the DT ends up falling. Chasing on in, though, is PartinG. And goodbye, Probe. Transferring Probe. This was not your day, sadly for you. So PartinG does get a few worker kills there. He's killed 10 so far. MacSed has killed, or he's killed 11 so far. MacSed has killed 10. Blinking forward again, getting shots off. Archons take a long time to die to Stalkers. They do have 350 hit points. And Stalkers don't do extra damage versus them or anything, because they're not armored. They are technically psionic type. Psionic massive. So again, Stalkers maybe not a great answer. PartinG getting a Templar Archives of his own. Maybe he wants some Archons. Or maybe he just wants +3 attack. +2 attack is just about to finish for him. MacSed getting another Observer, worried about more Dark Templar. That might be on the field, but I don't think he has to worry about that. PartinG, he recognizes when his opponent knows there are Dark Templar on the way, and he's not going to go ahead and do anything to jeopardize that. Blink Stalkers coming in here again, trying to get an Immortal, but that barrier ability comes on up. And once again, forced to back out here is PartinG. He doesn't want to stand in and fight with those Zealots. It's not that I think he would lose the fight necessarily, but he would be weakened so much it would be a problem. More transferring probes just getting massacred right in the back of the face there. Zealots rushing on in, and they do get a couple shots off on the Stalkers. Can they run away in time? Blinking forward. Losing one, though. A little bit too late on the blink was PartinG. And the Phoenix Cloud running around. This Zealot is not going to live. The Phoenix does extra damage versus light, 10 damage versus light, and unfortunately for Zealots, they are light. Zealots and DTs going to try to take down this base. There are 2 cannons here, so the detection is safe. I don't think PartinG can deal with it. He might try attacking up the middle, and then when there's a distraction, sending this little hit squad in. Let's see if he does that here. Just peeking down. Just peeking down. No big deal. Checking out what's going on. Zealots making sure this gold base has not been taken. Nobody's really scouting this base, though. There could be a nexus for either player for as long as they know. Zealot holding Zone like a watchtower, ends up dead again. This is a very high mortality rate job. It's like being... What's a really high mortality rate job right now? Like a magician? Or like Harry Houdini or something? Or a coal worker? Coal miners. There's a pretty high mortality rate there. Squishing in from the left and the right side is MacSed. And no. PartinG blinking out of there. Knowing better than that. Is he getting Storm? He doesn't have Storm available. He might try some feedbacks. I do not know. That's a lot of Disruptors. Going for it. Feedbacks on all of the Phoenix. Surprisingly, no lift is available here. And Purification Nova is on top of everything. Mac losing a ton. These Immortals are very low on health. They're still doing full damage, though. Another set of Novas comes in. And the Immortals are gone. It is 95 to 138 total supply. The Zealots finally get cleaned up. This single Immortal with 11 kills does get focused down and exploded. The Archon as well, living to his last breath. The Phoenix flying around. More Zealots trying to force PartinG back to home. And that's it. That's the GG from MacSed. MacSed's defeated. PartinG's victorious. And MacSed has left the game. That's it for our weekly PvP, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me. I honestly would have liked to see MacSed win that one. I mean, anything that messes up the meta, especially in a mirror matchup, where it's become the same thing over and over and over and over, is okay with me. So, MacSed, keep it up, man. You almost won that thing. I feel like you were neck and neck with PartinG until that last little bit when all those Novas pretty much smashed you in the face. But maybe if he had kept the pressure up, continued to whittle down that Disruptor count, he could have been in a better spot in that final battle. PartinG did end up losing 14 Disruptors. MacSed did a pretty good job of his own there. The Void Rays were a pretty good idea. Phoenix lifting the Disruptor, also a not bad idea. Immortal to deal with the Stalkers. Composition was good, but in the end, the Blink Stalker control was too good. Purification Novas were too good. Too many bases for PartinG as well. His income was absolutely through the roof. 1,200, 400 gas with 52 total Harvesters, and that's exactly where he wants to be. And when PartinG is where he wants to be, he's usually going to win. So that's it from me. This has been Falcon Paladin with yet another daily Legacy of the Void upload. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter and Facebook, both at /FalconPaladin. And until next time, as always, thanks for watching, and you take care of yourself.